I want you to imagine something with me. Picture a giant bucket.
Okay, a giant bucket.
But this bucket is hidden deep underground in South America, specifically in a country called Venezuela. And this bucket is filled with oil.
Right, a huge amount of oil.
Exactly. I mean, we are talking about a bucket that is even bigger than the ones in Saudi Arabia.
Wow. Yeah, that is massive.
It is. Venezuela actually has the largest oil reserves in the entire world.
They really do. But it's not always easy to get to.
Right, right. So, welcome to today's deep dive. Our mission today is to unpack a very specific global puzzle.
A very interesting puzzle.
It really is. We are looking at what happens to the world, and specifically to China's economy, if the United States gains control or, influence over Venezuela's massive oil supply. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, before we jumped in, I think it's important to state how we are looking at this. International politics is, well, it's basically like a giant game of chess.
A very complicated game of chess.
Exactly. And today, we are strictly looking at the economic concepts from our sources. We are not taking any political sides here.
No, not at all.
We aren't judging the leaders in the U.S. or Venezuela or China. We just want to see how moving one piece on the board changes the whole game.
That makes perfect sense. And for our listeners, let's quickly explain one important word before we go further. The word is reserves.
Right, reserves.
When we say Venezuela has the largest oil reserves, it just means the oil that is still in the ground.
Exactly. It's sitting down there waiting to be pumped out.
Okay, so to understand what might happen in the future, we kind of need to look at what is happening right now.
Right. We have to look at the present.
Why does this Venezuelan oil matter so much to China today?
Well, it starts with the United States. The U.S. and Venezuela have a very difficult relationship.
A very bad relationship, really.
Yeah, and because of this, the U.S. placed what we call sanctions on Venezuela.
Sanctions, right. And for you listening, sanctions are basically strict rules that stop trade. The U.S. said, nobody can buy this oil easily.
Exactly, and makes it very, very hard for Venezuela to sell its oil to normal buyers.
I read a great analogy in the sources for this. Think of Venezuela's oil like a giant water tap.
Oh, I like that, a water tap.
Yeah. So because of the U.S. sanctions, that tap was basically closed to the United States and its friends.
Right, they couldn't turn the tap on.
But the oil, still needs to go somewhere, right?
Right.
Venezuela had to find other friends to buy their oil.
And this is where China enters the story.
Ah, the China connection.
Yes, China became one of Venezuela's biggest friends in this situation. Because the U.S. said no to Venezuelan oil, China has been able to buy a whole lot of it.
And they get a really good deal, don't they?
They get a fantastic deal. Our sources call it a friendship price.
A friendship price. That's a nice way of saying a massive discount.
It really is. Because Venezuela doesn't have many other people to sell to, China can say, look, we will buy your oil, but we are only going to pay a very low price.
So China gets a steady supply of really cheap oil.
Yes, and this steady supply is so important. It is basically the heart of a country's economy.
Because it feeds everything, right?
Everything. It feeds China's factories. It keeps the trucks and cars moving. It helps build their roads. Cheap oil is a huge advantage.
Okay, so that is the situation right now. China is getting cheap oil from the giant bucket in Venezuela.
Right.
But what if the game of chess changes?
This is the big question.
Yeah. What if the U.S. starts to control or heavily influence that water tap? So what does this all mean for the listener's wallet, like for everyday people?
Well, our research shows there are two main paths this could take. Let's start with the good news.
Okay, I like good news. Let's hear the first scenario.
In the first scenario, the U.S. decides to lift the sanctions and actually helps Venezuela produce more oil.
So they help fix the broken water tap?
Exactly. They bring in money and engineers, and the global supply of oil goes way up.
Okay, and I think I know what that means. If there's a lot more oil in the world, the price usually goes down, right?
Yes, exactly. More supply usually means cheaper gas prices for everyone, everywhere.
So that includes China.
It includes China, it includes you and me, everyone.
Yeah.
The baseline price of energy drops.
That does sound like good news, but I am guessing there's a bad news scenario too.
Yes, there is a second scenario, and this one is about competition.
Competition over the tap.
Right. If the U.S. controls the tap, they might prioritize their own American companies.
Oh, I see.
American factories in places like Texas actually really need the specific type of heavy oil that Venezuela has.
So the oil goes to the U.S. instead of China.
Exactly, and China loses that special friendship price.
Let me make sure I understand this. So it's kind of like a supermarket.
A supermarket? How so?
Well, if my favorite cheap shop closes down or someone else buys all their food, I have to go shop at a different, more expensive place,
That is a perfect way to look at it. China would have to go to the open market, maybe buy from the Middle East, and pay full price.
which hurts their economy.
It hurts a lot. And there's another layer to this bad news, too. It involves money.
Money? You mean the U.S. dollar?
Yes, you see, oil is sold globally in U.S. dollars.
Almost all of it, right?
Almost all of it. So if the U.S. controls this massive Venezuelan supply, they gain even more power over global prices and global money.
Because if China wants to buy that oil, they have to use U.S. dollars.
Exactly. It makes the U.S. financial system even stronger.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Venezuela is in South America. That is on the exact opposite side of the planet from China.
It is very far away.
Right. So why should someone living in, say, Shanghai care about a water tap way over in South America?
That brings us to the concept of the global market.
The global market.
Yes. You have to think of the global market like a giant spider web.
Ooh, a spider web. I like that. So if you touch one part of the web, the whole web shakes.
Exactly. Every single thread is connected.
So how does that web shaking affect everyday people? Like maybe a delivery driver in Shanghai.
Okay, let's trace the ripple effect. If China loses that steady friendship price from Venezuela,
Right, because the U.S. took the oil.
yes, then China has to buy more expensive oil somewhere else.
So the price of gasoline goes up for the delivery driver.
Gasoline goes up. But it's not just gasoline. How do factories run? Electricity.
And electricity gets more expensive.
Yes. Basic transportation gets more expensive. And remember, oil is used to make things too.
Like what?
Like plastic bottles, the plastic casing on your phone, even clothes.
Wait, really? Clothes?
Yeah, synthetic fabrics are made from oil. Everything is connected.
So if the price of oil goes up, the price of literally everything goes up.
Yeah.
The delivery driver has to pay more for food, for clothes, for power.
Yes. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you can see how fragile the global supply chain really is.
Fragile is the perfect word. It's scary to think that an economy relies on an oil tap thousands of miles away.
It is very scary for a country's leaders.
So, if the global spiderweb is that fragile, how does a country protect itself from high prices? How do they escape the web?
Well, China is actively trying to escape this trap right now.
Really?
Oh.
How? You can't just find a new bucket of oil in Beijing.
No, you can't. But you can change the rules of the game. China is trying to escape the web by using less oil entirely.
Oh, wow. Just not playing the oil game.
Exactly. They are building massive amounts of wind power, solar power, and electric cars.
Ah, this brings up our final key vocabulary phrase for today, and it's a great one.
What is it?
Energy independence.
Yes. Energy independence.
For you listening, energy independence simply means making your own power, making it using the sun and the wind inside your own country,
It's the ultimate solution.
because the sun is free.
The sun is free and the wind is free. Let's break down the simple logic here.
Okay, let's hear it.
The more green energy a country produces on its own, the less they need to worry about who controls the oil tap in a country like Venezuela.
Right, if all your cars are electric and all your electricity comes from the sun, you don't care if the price of oil goes up.
Exactly. The puzzle of international politics loses its power over daily life.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. We usually think about switching to electric cars and solar panels as something we do to save the environment.
Right, to stop climate change.
But what you are saying is, it isn't just about the environment.
No, it is a massive strategy for national economic safety.
It's about safety. It's about not being trapped in that spider web.
Yes. By building their own solar panels and their own electric batteries, China doesn't have to rely on ships carrying oil from South America.
That completely changes how I look at an electric car. It's not just a car, it's like a little shield against global problems.
That is a great way to think about it. It keeps the money inside the country.
Wow. This has been such an amazing journey today. Let's just do a quick recap of everything we talked about.
Good idea. We covered a lot of ground.
We started with that giant bucket of oil hidden in South America, the biggest reserves in the world.
Right, and we looked at the water tap of global supply. How sanctions closed the tap for some, but opened it for China.
Giving them that super cheap friendship price. But then we looked at what happens if the U.S. takes control of that tap.
The spiderweb effect.
Yes, the shaking spider web. How higher prices for oil mean higher prices for everything, from plastic bottles to electricity.
And finally, we looked at the sun and the wind.
Energy independence, the ultimate escape from the oil game.
It really is a fascinating game of chess. And it leaves me with one final thought.
Oh, final thought to ponder. Let's hear it.
Well, as more and more countries chase energy independence, building solar panels and electric cars,
Right.
what will happen in the future to the countries whose only global power is that giant bucket of oil sitting under their ground?
Oh, wow.
Will the water tap even matter in 50 years?
That is a huge question. If nobody needs the oil, the bucket doesn't make you powerful anymore. Well, that is definitely something for all of us to think about. To you listening, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you for listening.
We hope you enjoyed it. Keep practicing your English, keep questioning the world around you, and we will catch you next time. Goodbye.